Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're all having a magical day, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this journey of our trade review. I call you ghouls and goblins because I make Magic the Gathering content. If you're not familiar, and this kind of just like a go-to for an intro there. So it carries over a little bit. I'm sure you'll notice that with lots of things that I do. But yeah, if you're just jumping in, this is trading diary for myself. Trying to get consistent with it daily. Just going over everything that I did during the day. What were we watching? Why were we watching it? Did we take any trades, and how did we make those trades, right? And then through this review process, we can hopefully improve into the future, right? Should be that simple. So just mostly an accountability tool. The videos are working as for me to make sure that I'm doing it, right? So, I just feel bad if I miss a video, but if I just miss a trade review and don't pay attention, then hundreds of them go by, and I've not done any of them in years. So here we are. And a little slow with it. We're getting better at the consistency of it. I'd like to do it every day, and it's we have 2 days to go through today, so we'll get better. But with that being said, yesterday, the day, where did we leave off? We were buying SPY puts, and I was like, yo, these SPY 18 puts are great. We've been milking those. But if I had to do it again, I'd switch to 620s because it was kind of later in the day, and you don't want to be out of the money when the bell rings, right? So, we move our strike up a bit, and we were able to scale it there a little bit more. So same as we were doing before, and getting into yesterday. Now this is all fresh for you guys. BMGL just had high cost to borrow. And try to slow down on this process. I know I really rushed through it, but maybe we could teach you guys a little bit more than we typically do. Did I make a trade on this? Morning trades? No trade on this, but it looked really good in the morning. I think I was late to it, right? Yeah, this is like 2 in the morning my time, so this just like started immediately, right? 3 in the morning my time, and actually I think I woke up early, but I was so tired, and like, I'm not going to chase it at this point, right? I'm like, okay, this has already happened. Let's add it to the watch list, and because it is about the pre-market session is about building the watch list for the rest of the day, right? Because you get maybe 10 tickers in the morning, and then throughout the day, not all of them perform. Lots of them will give back, and maybe 1 or 2 will shine through, right? So it's a process of kind of finding and sifting through to those, which I find the market does at large, right? And this, I guess, didn't make the cut. And sometimes when they run so much in the morning, like, what did this do? 150%. It's you really expect a stock to hold that. The fact that it even held this was pretty nice, 63%, and even actually, I guess, more than that. Let's call this 70% on the day, and even now it's really holding 50% almost, right? So even when there is something nice that happens, and I don't think there was a catalyst here, no news, just high cost to borrow, it'll give it back, right? So lots of times when there's no catalyst, it gives it all back. So the fact that it's kind of holding a little bit without a catalyst is interesting. Something that we're always, we're gonna keep on the watch list, right? So we have a day 1 move here. Day 2, we have low volume consolidation. So what does that set us up for? Potentially a day 3 inside bar, right? We have our first volumetric move here. And then today was that inside consolidation, right? Where we're just in between the top and bottom of this candle. So tomorrow on day 3, we want to break this 330 mark, aim for 374. And if we get through that, maybe $5, 375 to 5 rule. It's a nice little homemade rule. Why not? And that's like not a terrible level. Like, even if we carry this through, right? Like, we could definitely aim for this. I don't think that's too much to ask. 488, let's call it 475. Don't want to be too greedy, right? So I'll try to get this uploaded tonight for everyone. And then if anyone watches this, you can actually pay attention to this play tomorrow in real time for yourself. And that's why I want to get consistent with them, because some of these things we set up, watch the setup, and you can act accordingly, right? So Day 3 inside bar tomorrow for BMGL. Because today was day 2, so I'm actually going to hop over here, and then tomorrow's watch, BMGL, day 3 inside bar. Beautiful. And without this review that's why the review is important. Right here, we see it. If I didn't do the review, I would skip past this. And then tomorrow, this would break out at $5, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's running. Should I get in? But now I know that if this even shows strength tomorrow, I probably want to pile in early. But if we clear 330, then I definitely am watching it to 370. And if we break that, then I do aim for that nearly $5 move. So that plan ahead of time makes acting in the moment much easier, right? Because you're watching it, you're saying, okay, volume's coming in fresh. I can get in with that fresh volume and not be buying the tops once everybody else has caught wind of it, right? Because you're going to be watching it ahead of time with a plan. Okay, anyways, SOBR. Let's go back to the 1 minute here. This didn't have any news either. 1 minute, not 1 month. My goodness. And again, we got to go back to yesterday. We seen after hours. Oh yeah, this was moving after hours. So just having it on the watch list, because when something moves like this, there's like what is in motion has a tendency to remain in motion or whatever, like a law of momentum. So let's, see if it continues. Could be another day 3, I guess, right? Well, not really though, because it broke underneath, and then, so this is good to see the difference, right? You see how today's bar broke down under the low, which we don't like. It did close above back in it, which, these things always don't work out perfectly. So that's a good sign, and we'll watch it. We'll watch it. The same thing, we'll add the high here, and, if we break 470, then we're going to aim 520, 530, right? Maybe we won't be so giddy in on this one, but definitely we'll keep it on. MBIO was a day 3, right? So that's good to see. Again, just go to our 1 minute. I don't know if it panned out. So here is our day 1, right? That massive bar. Here's the day 2 consolidation within this bar, right? And then day 3 showed strength, but it ultimately really didn't amount to anything. And it died down. It's still holding that inside position. And sometimes, it might take a day or two. Like, things aren't always so perfect. Oh. No, this isn't really day 3, though. It was a day 3. Or should have been. But see how sloppy this is? Okay, and this is good when we just looked at SOBR. Because we're like, oh, this could be a day 3, but it's sloppy, right? And that's a reason why we don't like it to be sloppy. So you see how this, it broke down. But I think it transferred at the top. Like, I think it broke down, but still closed the day here, right? And then opened the day here, from what I can tell. So it was kind of good sloppy, just like SOBR is, and it had a little move, but it didn't result in the full inside bar breakout that we want. Just, a little bit of premature loading, if you will. And who doesn't love a premature load? I had to. Excuse me? But that pop into the vwap reclaim, even this, like if you were going to trade this, how are we trading it? Let's set it up, long position, even if we take not the ideal candle, because I know not everybody gets really good entries. Let's say, you miss this first bar, you get in on that second, right? You got all this time to get in. So even if you weren't in right away, you had all the time up and back down. And even if we turn, I'll give it even we'll even go here. We'll make it like a really bad entry. And then you still get a 1-to-1, right? You still get a nice trade here, nice exits on this. with a suboptimal entry off the vwap reclaim, setting your stop loss at the pullback low. Okay? So you're taking that 75% scale out like we do, right? If you're watching the videos, you know what I'm talking about. And then if it goes for more, it goes for more, and we can scale out the remainder, right? So that's what we'll be looking for tomorrow with BMGL, right? To get in on that entry model setup, the VWAP reclaim, right? And then if the day 3 pans out, really cool. If not, we're managing our risk and still trying to make a green trade out of it off the setup, right? Just off the technicals. Moving on, KIDZ. This is like a crypto play, right? So here we are. You know, they're doing some stuff here. They came out and announced that they have 52,000 Solana, which it was worth at the time like $8 million. So you see the company here, and this is why I have this custom-made indicator tracking this information, which maybe one day we'll make a video about it, right? Look at the market cap, 5 million, and I know that right away. So you know, maybe the market cap down here was worth 3.5, 4. So you see that they've got 8 million worth of assets on hand. Well, that's more than 3.5 or 4. In fact, it's double. Let's pump it, right? So you get this influx of buying, right? Then you realize, oh, I still got to do dilution to buy that, right? So massive pullback, and some of these crypto plays have extreme volatility. If you can, just suit up about it, buy the dips, you're gonna do really well for yourself. Specifically, as we see crypto really start to pump in the coming weeks. And it's holding, and we can obviously watch this into the future. If you're into Solana, it's not my crypto of choice. I really just like Ethereum and Bitcoin personally. The altcoins are kind of crazy for me, but to each their own, Anywho, so that's kind of a letdown, though, to be honest. Like, it really broke down hard. Like, not even a little break of VWAP, but like hard break, and then hard breakdown again. Retraced up, ultimately no strength, and really died. And I think that's because we had something running really, really good. Was it KZIA? I think killed momentum. And that's volume rotation in the morning. That happens. Sorry, getting a bit of a coarse throat there. Yeah, so this just gapped up massively on that news pop, right? What was the news? Reports early data from first triple negative breast cancer. Oh, cancer, absolutely. 50% reduction in tumor cell phase 1. So phase 1 is not great. 1B is like a little bit further on, but cancer is cancer. And like, what do we have? It's like cancer, Alzheimer's, and autoimmune diseases, right? They're big market cap. Uncured diseases are worth a lot, right? Because if we cure them, woo-wee. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, the medical industry is out to get you. It's keeping you sick." It's like, you know how much money is in keep getting you healthy? Someone develops a cure, they are banking, right? So that's, I really do think that the medical industry is our best heart, or our best interest at heart, I should say, because it'll make them infinite money. If you cure cancer and you have everyone in the world as your customer, like that's pretty good, And Alzheimer's, so you get old, or whatever. Like, everyone gets old, You need a lot of customers, a lot of money you'd make. So I think it's really in everyone's best interest to advance medical discoveries. But that's rambling. He's a rambling man. Yeah, so cancer news is great. Phase 1B is not phase 3. So moving on, EVOK, which I think was pretty wild too, right? Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we got a trade to break down. What happened here? Receives notice of allowance for U.S. patent application for something extending orange book listings up to 2036. I don't have a doggone clue what that means, but it gets the people going. And I think I was kind of playing the breakout on this one, right? If like it's looks like it was a breakout bad entry. So we see, you know, this break of structure here, or market structure. Well, it's not even, because it's just was always going up. So break of structure, we'll call it, on suboptimal entry. And, you know, I don't always get perfect entries, right? But we can put our stop here below the recent pullback, which isn't much of a pullback, and you could have put it wherever you wanted, right? It just affects the size, and that's another video we'll go through. Is what are these, and what does it mean? You know, scaling out 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. That's as good as it gets. And how did this pan out? Oh, you would have got second outage if you missed your first. And it's just consolidating, which, as we review, and I go to the 1 days, is this a day 3 inside bar tomorrow? Oh, not really. Looking pretty sloppy here on the 1 day chart. But, you know, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. It could pull back more, though, probably. Right? Really just selling off all day today. Moving on. If you ever have any questions too, like if there's anything more I can break down for this, like it's really simple. It's like there's our entry based on this break of structure, because it's holding VWAP, right? We should have entered on the reclaim here with our stop here, but I was late to the show. You don't always get in early, but you can still play the setup. You just had to wait a little bit, right? So instead of getting in, well, you could have gotten here. That would have been fine. That's justifiable too. It's as long as your risk is managed, it's fine. And then my cells are at risk rewards 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, right? You guys know that. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't want to be doing this if you don't know what I'm talking about, right? So this was a great trade, going all the way, and then we had KZIA on the bottom. IA, yeah. How do we do here? Oh, I don't have my little bros, or they got deleted. But it looks like we got a 1 to 1, 2 to 1, and a 3 to 1, which is great. News pop, VWAP reclaim. So we get a news pop, and then kind of breaks down VWAP, reclaims it, stop loss under that pullback, and I was on this one. Which news was this? KZ. This was the cancer news. Yeah, cancer news is just kind of like an auto slap. Like I said, cancer, Alzheimer's, autoimmune diseases. There might be a few that I'm forgetting here, but very large market cap in biotech and pharmaceutical industry. So that was a nice trade there for us as well. And yeah, I feel like a lot of these pre-market trades that we take together, it's the same thing, you know, and that's really good for me to notice. It's really good for everyone else. News pop, pullback, VWAP reclaim, is your entry, stop loss at the pullback low, scalp it up through your risk rewards. Paying the bills, right? Then we get into our daily watch. Game was like, that's like a crypto name, right? Announces a public offering to launch Ethereum Treasury, which is great. They're like, oh my God, we're going to buy crypto. That's so cool. And it's holding, so I'll shut my mouth. But like if we pull it up, Stock Titan Game Square Holdings. So, they completed the offering at least, right? Which is great. That means they're done selling shares. But it's a lot of dilution, significant dilution. 8.4 million new shares. That's not good. Like a lot of these companies, and I don't know if we went through that. I was promising that we were going to, but I think I forgot, so maybe I'll pull it back up and just redo it. I was going to talk about treasuries and the dilution and all that. We don't like the dilution, so sometimes the dilution holds through. Sometimes you get absolutely destroyed, more times than not. Other times there is no dilution, and you love it. So yeah, a crypto name, which might even run in the coming days here. SUGP. We'll pull that up and take a look here. This is actually being pretty aggressive. What's their news on this? Secures record-breaking 11.3 million contract. Market cap's 21 million. So it's all things have been balanced. But when they got the news, you know, they were probably worth like 4 million or something here, right? Because if they're worth 11 and it's, you know, 40 or 50 cents, right? So far less than the contract was worth. So obviously that contract's not including costs of labor and materials or whatever, but I don't even know if they're building or, but there's overhead included in that, and it's not all revenue for them, but positive news nonetheless. You're going to play it, you know, it's the same as it always was. News pop, breakdown, VWAP reclaim with your stop below the pullback, scalp it up, right? Really nice. Like what that would look like is here's your kind of confirmed VWAP reclaim. If you got in here, whatever. Like let's say you took a suboptimal entry. Let's say you jumped the gun and you didn't wait for that bar to close above, right? Because none of these bars are confirmed until this bar here. This green bar is the confirm, right? You see how this not opening and closing above, not opening and closing above. The red one maybe, but the green one definitely. And this, that's already gone at that point, right? Well, no, in the grand scheme of things, not really. And then our stop is below the pullback here. Put it right here. And just an immediate one-to-one risk reward, right? In 1 minute, easy. And then pushing off from that, you know, we went as high as 94%. That's impressive. 4.6, really good. So we would have got our 4-to-1 risk rewards. If we were playing this, we didn't. That's how we would have played it, right? And then again, it went again today. Oh my God. Continuation. 5.37 risk reward. What's the pullback? CLDI. This announced exercise of some warrants, which people were pretty happy about, I guess. I mean, the price would probably be relevant on those. I don't know them off the top of my head there. After hours movement, pre-market continuation, market open continuation. That's insane. A triple leg? Dude, and what did these do? Like, man, this makes me uncomfortable to even look at. Like, 100% on the first. 100% on the second. And 100% on the third. Ah! My golly. And anything running that much, because collectively, what is that worth? 400%. Wow. It's always going to pull back, I guess is what I mean to say, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good the news is. You're getting euphoria. You're getting hype. It's too much. And even if it's great, it's got to pull back and rebalance. But, wow. That's kind of crazy. Then I did some trades. I guess SPY on the bottom, taking it pretty easy. The morning was super successful, so why push it? And then we're kind of bullish. Like I was bearish on SPY, but it gapped up. And when the market gaps up, usually it does so with continuation, and it retraced, and then again gapped up, right? And then we had the morning super run into a pullback. So I'm like, okay, let's try to time bottom here. I have no other reason than that. I think I don't even know why we're taking entry here. I sometimes do things I shouldn't with this buy. Let's say I make X profits, 100% profits. I'll take 15% of that, and I'll put it into daily SPY contracts. Sometimes it goes really well, other times not so much, but always just playing with profits on my option contracts as a rule of thumb. And then, when things do blow up in my face, which they will, I mean, I'm happy to show you that when it happens, then it's not, like ruining my life. It's like, oh, dang it. It's very much not as detrimental on my mental state there. So this was nice. I don't even have because this was and that's why I need to do it that night of, so I'm not forgetting what's happening during the day here, the next day. But really nice. You know, you could have potentially closed here, but again, we like to close with the bar opening and closing below, just like we like to take our profits with it above, if at all possible. And you know, you get that 1-to-1, the 2-to-1, the 3-to-1, and the 4-to-1. Because when you trade SPY, you have 15 minutes to close out your contracts, right? And after the market closes, which is great. So yeah, really nice 4-to-1 trade here on the SPY as well, which is cool. And then I bought more GameStop. Yes, I'm always buying more GameStop. Again, you know, trying to time the low on the market. It was a little early. I think I was a little early on my SPY bottom as well, as you just seen. You don't always get it perfect. Like, you don't always get bottoms perfect. You don't always get tops perfect. But, you know, I knew we were close to the bottom. And that's the important part. So, we grab some more shares here. Again, missed bottom a little bit. But ultimately, you know, making the right decision as we get a nice expansion movement upwards. And kind of maybe we'll lock into what could be a new trend. As we now look at our 15-minute chart, we have a reversal forming here. It's quite bearish for a bit here, right? On that 15-minute chart, bearish all the way down from last time, and then, you know, getting that kind of fake reversal, right, where it did set and it did make a movement. Like, what is this percentage-wise off the reversal? And again, you know, not off the marker, but where the price was at the marker, not even on trend, retest, 1%, nothing, you know. And then, you know, the bearish signal resets, right? And that's kind of scary. But then we reset bullish. So now we can, you know, go from the 15-minute, and we can now start to look at the 30-minute chart. And we didn't reverse bearish on the 30-minute. We're still holding that. Oh, no, this is... Yeah, this is the... So it just reversed then. Oh, man. Okay, so the 15-minute had the false reversal, right? And then re-reversed. And the 30-minute didn't have the false reversal because it didn't have enough time to set. And then just set its original first. Okay. And this would have been at the time a bearish breaker block that we now have broke through, creating a bullish, a bearish order block that's now a bullish breaker block. You could count this as the retrace. It's not activated. Like, you want to retrace into it and then kind of go, typically. But if we don't, then it's just strong. And this one, you kind of got close, I guess. But I'd like to see a retracement back into this before we really launch. But it is what it is. I definitely would be loading up more at that point, right? But if we can kind of hold this 200, right? Like, we see reject, just turbo rejects on this 200 moving average on the 30-minute here. If we can hold that, that's looking pretty good. And now, you know, move out to the 1 hour. Oh, sorry, that's 1 minute. We see that signal setting a little bit later here, right? Not when the move happened, but it takes some time as our time frame moves out and expands. But it still has set. That's a clear reversal. Let's see if we can challenge that 2360, right? That would be ideal. And then maybe the 4 hours worthwhile checking out. No reversal here. We don't have a reversal here yet. Did we on the... Yeah, we did. So we're working to set the 4 hour. And that's how I do it, right? It's like I go to the smaller time frame and work my way up. Specifically with these longer term swings, right? So here we want to reclaim that 2360 and, you know, base above that and try to get into the gap at 24, right? We rejected the gap once last week or a couple days ago, and then, you know, ideally challenge the 200, right? But ultimately fill the gap. And that's on the 4 hour, which is as good as the 1 day, basically, for GameStop here. And then there's a second little baby gap too, but it's probably not large enough to be relevant. At least not for our strategy. I'll be selling, you know, 80% of my option contracts here, and in tomorrow's video I'll pull those up for you guys, because I did load some more contracts as well. You know, they're all red. That's fine. They'll be red. You can't always time bottom, but they'll go green, right? That's what we know. So, yeah, just like this, right? We're red on our shares here on our longer term portfolio. That's okay. So we loaded more GameStop up there, and then we can move to today, which I didn't do any trading. It'd be quick. I didn't do any trading. We're just going to talk. I did load up some long term. We added something to the portfolio. We'll just talk about what happened today. Then I want to talk about the treasuries a little bit as well, because I think I forgot last time. Anyways, KLTO, FDA for a new drug for the treatment of sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, right? So that's pretty decent. Let's pull it up. And it went bonkers, right? So you see, I like when it goes and then reclaims, but like, you know, I guess you could have played this. And this is why I didn't, because I didn't get the breakdown that I wanted, and I didn't want to chase. So you could say something like this. You still use that as your stop and scalp it up. Didn't touch it. Just wasn't comfortable with it. There wasn't a pullback. It just went. And it was good news, so that's why. And it did have a gap on the 1 day, which filled. That's gone. Again, we didn't play this. I was just as an example as how we could have played it. And it gave it all back. It gave it all back. Brutal. BTCM. They're expanding into the Solana ecosystem. I don't know what Solana even is, man, but the kids seem to love it. Same thing where you don't really get the pullback you want, and it just goes. The market was strong today. Here you do get the pullback. This is where I should have entered. If we were going to play this, here's the setup I'm comfortable with, right? News pop, vwap breakdown into a reclaim here. Stop loss under the pullback low. Scalp it up, right? Here's a 1-to-1, and it went all the way up to, geez Louise, a 12.3-to-1 risk reward. So what an amazing trade that would have been if we took it. I was up late last night. I had a friend come over. We were playing video games. SSX3. You've heard of this game, yes? Oh my God, what a banger. We had the PlayStation 2 out. It was a great time. But look what we missed out on. Was it worth it? Yeah, you got to hang with your friends sometimes. Can't take every trade. There'll be more trades tomorrow. But that's how we could have played it, and what an amazing play that would have been. Moving on, CGTX. What's happening here? Completes end of phase 2. Ooh, we like phase 2. Definitely more than phase 3. It's not more than phase 1, but it's not phase 3. Alzheimer's disease too. Oh yeah. So this is just go zone, right? Just the news, and it just keeps going. Like Alzheimer's, cancers, autoimmune diseases, they rip, right? There's a lot of money in that because they're not cured yet. But it dies down because it's not a cure, right? It's just, and the thing about having something that's not cured is everybody's trying to cure it. So you get these FDA trials, and phase 1 is like phase 1 through 3, you know, is like the completion or the progress of them. So obviously phase 1 is like not very promising. Phase 2 is like, okay, like let's check this out. And if you've got good phase 3 results, it's just like, let's go, right? This is a real thing, not just a, we tried and it didn't work type deal. Moving on. I did give a lot of it back, but that's just because it moves so heavy, right? Like anything, again, that moves 100%, probably would give some of it back, right? And it's still up 30%, which is super good. SAFX, I think this killed it. Because volume rotation in the morning, you're all super susceptible to it. Outlines plan to build multiple production facilities and invest nearly $1 billion in renewable fuel production by 2028, which is not that far away. It's only worth $10 million. So crazy news pop, and it just goes. VWAP breakdown, reclaim. If you were going to play it, that's how we do it, baby. You guys already know where I'm drawing these lines, and that's why I do this. Not just for me, but for you too. So here's our kind of confirmed bar, which you would have got slayed on, but it is what it is, right? I'm not doing optimal. I'm not cherry picking entries, you know. If it's not my real entry, I'll do a suboptimal entry just to make sure it works for everyone. And there it is. There's your 1-to-1. It went up to a 2.3, so you're easily getting out at your 2-to-1. No problem to get out here. Easy. Really nice trade there. Could have been. We know what stocks to watch, and then we know how to play those stocks, right? Morning trades, we didn't do any. Daily watch, ABVE. Oh my god. What the hell? Casual 400%. Wow, that's just so crazy. Penny stocks. I don't like to place penny stocks specifically in the summertime. This had news 3 days ago. Merger agreement with PAM Global Technologies. You might want to pull up that merger agreement, see what the share buyout was, and oh, whoa! Bruh! Make it 800%. I should have paid more attention today. Some serious mishaps on my behalf. Wow. Just rolling thunder, dude. There's still 20 minutes left in the trading day, after hours session here, of course. Really nice closeout here. That's crazy. We're going to be watching this tomorrow. What was this? ABVE continuation. Dang, brah. SBET. Okay, how would we have traded this? Yeah, I mean, let's go through it. Take the time. May as well have made these trades, having to go through them like this. Basically, I mean, this is such a bad VWAP breakdown to reclaim, but if that's the only setup I see, I guess there's a gap fill here. You could have played this gap fill, right? This one didn't really provide much, but this one did twice. So gap fill strategy, that's something that we don't talk about a ton, but we have a little bit. Entry, and let's see, we are finding a different setup for the stock that we're comfortable with. You take your entry in on the gap, right? So you see the stock halts up, it creates a gap, then it comes into the gap, right? So we can take our entry in the gap, and it just wicked in. We've got our order ready to go, and we've got our stop loss ready to go already, just underneath the gap. Entry in the gap, stop under the gap, off of a gap fill, right? And then here's your 1-to-1, easy. As high as a 7-to-1 there. And if you really stayed in, you got yourself a 48-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That makes me sick. You know how good that is? That might be a record for me. A 50-to-1. I didn't take it, though. Insane. Insane gap fill strategy here. Wow. Never mind. This is going too? No, this is the same one that we were already talking about. This would have been 100 to 1 risk reward at this level here. Oh my God. That's an account maker, that trade right there. That's incredible. That's what the review's about. Pay attention. Don't miss out on these opportunities. I have no words. Anyways, we got to move on. SPET. This was doing some stuff, but died. Oh, no, it was on our daily watch list. Not our morning watch list. So, yeah, daily watch list reversal, VWAP reclaim. Kind of broke down, but it did it again. And we like that. The trend holds. We take entry on that trend holding. And we just played oh, no, we entered way after. Anyways, we see the strength, and then we enter in on that a little bit later. This is just a long-term investment, not a day trade, though. So if we were going to day trade it, it should have been over here. But because we're late, it's kind of a different trade for us. Add it to the long-term portfolio instead because we like, if you look at it on the 1 day, it's looking pretty good, right? Holding the 200, reclaiming it, right? So we do have a massive gap fill all the way up to 30. And, we're probably going to take some profits there, right? So that's that. This is what we did today, was add this to our long-term portfolio, which is doing pretty good. You're up at 112.7, 5.3 realized, 7.4 unrealized gains. Just kind of scaling out. I feel like the market's a little high. Thought it was going to dip, but here we are, back up again. But that's why you scale out, because it's hard to time the top, But we'll just keep bleeding it off, and when we get a dip, we'll start pushing it back in. So CLDI was also on our daily watch. This was doing its tear, right? Same thing, right? VWAP reclaim, reversal, VWAP reclaim, trend holds, right? That 200 holds, expansion up, right? So you could take it on that VWAP reclaim, stop below. Here's your 1-to-1, right? Which you probably didn't get filled here, but you did get out nice and green there, and it went as high as a 4-to-1, almost a 5-to-1, 4.5-to-1 risk reward. So really nice trade that could have been. Again, we didn't take any trades today. Then after hours, we have, I'm talking about drones at the Department of Defense, whatever, I don't care. But the market's going to care tomorrow about drones. So we got some drone names to watch. DPRO, PRZO, UAVS is another one. RCATS is definitely one, as you can see. Who else do we have for drones? UAVS, I think I mentioned. All the drone names are going to be popping tomorrow, so you can throw those on your list and probably just have an all-day runner. So that's that. SBET's pumping because crypto, and BTCT is another crypto name. Pumping because our total market cap on crypto is exploding. Bitcoin's up at new highs, hitting that 116, 117 almost. So that's pretty crazy. And then we added BMGL at the start of the video, and then the ABVE we added as well. So you should be familiar with that. With that being said, let me pull up. I had like a quick thing to break through the other day, and I think I forgot about it. But I want to pull this up, and we can just talk about it really quick. Just because I was trying to explain to someone, and sometimes I feel like this is better at communication than I am by a long shot. how are they doing these massive offerings to start crypto treasuries? Isn't it like super scammy with all the dilution that they're doing, and then the crypto can just be moved around without the regulation attached to it that you would have with the typical shares structure. I don't know. I'm not a financial professional yet, so I'm curious. Let's talk about it. They're raising capital through dilutive offerings, and that's something that we've talked about in the last however many weeks because it's a super theme. These treasuries, direct equity sale, pipe deal, private placement, right? Convertible debt, share count skyrockets, which brings the share price down typically, or it will. Market cap balloons because of the hype, if you will, right? We see these companies explode up and then super retrace down. Again, we have so many examples of that in the last couple of weeks. And they're not really investing in the business with that money, right? They're not putting it to operational funding or like expansion or anything, product development, etc., like research and whatever. They're just like, we're gonna fucking buy crypto with this. And it's like, it's one thing if you're a company that's making a ton of cash, right? You don't have a lot of debt, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna bleed some of my profits into crypto, as an inflation hedge. Sure, great, cool, that's awesome. You're wow, look at you. What company is this? But then you see these companies, they already have a bunch of debt. They're underwater. They don't have, cash runway. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to sell 8 gazillion shares to buy the world's biggest Solana fund. It's like, oh? So, then they announced that they're adding crypto, trying to follow MicroStrategy, which it worked so well because they were so early in on it, right? It rallies because the bots and retail traders misinterpret everything and they look past the dilution, right? They see the headline. They're like, they're buying all the crypto. Things must be up and up. Let's go. So that's the trading volume that increases. And you can play that trading volume. Sometimes we do as a day trader, right? Then insiders or underwriters, if there's any warrants or whatever, going to dump city on everyone, right? 'Cause who wouldn't? So extreme dilution. Shareholders get wiped out, especially if they're not in on that volume surge to get out on top, right? They can do this probably without a vote or something that's typically required. Like, you want to do a big share offering, you gotta put it to a vote. Typically, sometimes, I don't know. There's specific cases, I guess. I just feel like there's less restriction with how they're moving it around after the purchase. A lot of them don't have a good base to be doing this from, right? They're just like nuking the company at a Hail Mary hope, and I don't know. After the hype fades, insiders exit at the top because they know what's happening. Companies left with sagging crypto asset and probably a failing business model because it didn't reinvest in itself, specifically if crypto doesn't balloon. Like, yes, this is all great if crypto and Bitcoin goes to $1 million and we'll have quadrupled our money and we could do a share buyback. And that's a lot of what ifs, homie. So I'm not in on that strategy. I like the what is, not what ifs. So no long-term vision, comparing it to MicroStrategy or Tesla funding in their purchases. Well, maybe not so much in MicroStrategy's case, but Tesla's actually makes some money, right? So, and some of these companies you see as the news rolls out, and we can look at all the different treasuries that are appearing. Some of them are buying their crypto with straight up cash. They're not doing a node offering or a pipe or anything. So that's cool. And then investments, we just seen this the other day. Mogo, we're going to do 50 million Bitcoin and, it didn't work out. So how's Mogo doing? I don't even know, because we did play this the other day, right? Doesn't look too good for Mogo, but this is it, right? Massive. We did play it and got burned on it. Ouch. Massive pump, right? Oh, look at all this hype. Look at all this hype. And then where's that get you? Frickin' not anywhere good. I mean, you're still up from where you were, which is good for them, retaining some of that value. But long term, it's not great. And then, and this might still bleed off more. Keep that in mind, right? That might not be done. The miners, I don't mind. I like the miners a little bit because they are generating profit, right? And so what you mine at a loss today can become profitable as the the asset value increases, right? As Bitcoin goes up. So say you're mining at whatever ROI, you got 50% ROI today at 100K Bitcoin with your factory of miners that's going, and that's fine, and you got the projections based on today's price of Bitcoin. But as Bitcoin scales, these mining companies are just accumulating and accumulating and accumulating, and they're not having to do dilutive move to accumulate typically. But when you do have the hype, you want to be doing share offerings, right? So it's a little bit different. And that's part of the game, right? So just like you want to sell high, so does the company, right? Because those companies, specifically the ones with a plan that we're going to mine crypto, they need cash. They need that operational runway to expand, to buy more miners and warehouses to put them in, whatever, right? Low float pink sheets, SPACs, uplisters, they're really easy to move because of the low daily average volume. Because no one's touched them, because why would you, right? So it's like, then they come up with this crazy hype news and things go wild, but there's nothing of substance there. It's just straight up financial engineering. Bottom line, though, it's exploitative. Not good. They're doing it on purpose. People are getting wrecked in the short term, and the long term is a maybe, right? Anyone who knows what they're doing gets out, right? They're buying low, selling high, using other buyers as liquidity. And we're a BTC play without being a real business. That's not necessarily good. Legit moves that we like, funded with profits from operational cash flow, right? Make money with your core business and then put a portion of that into crypto. That's much better. Just like you would with your savings account, long-term holding conviction, great. I mean, as long as crypto doesn't crash, I would prefer a company able to scale out on highs and scale in on dips, just like anyone should be. But long-term holdings is important too. We see that work out for people. And then the transparency is important. But I don't think I went through this with everyone. But it's good to, talk about the dilution and what makes it bad, right? And then if that's all bad, what makes a good one? And then how do we look for it? Significant dilution. And that's why it's in the negative column, right? It's not a good thing, right? But sometimes in the positive column, you'll see that they paid cash or something, so then that helps us with our decision-making process. So that's that. Thanks for watching. A little bit longer, but we did get caught up on everything. 54 minutes. Wow. Okay, a lot longer than I wanted it to be. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a great day. You'll be watching this like 10 years in the future. Be like, wow, how did he do it? I got to go back to those first videos and figure out how he did it. Well, it's nice to see you. I hope the future is friendly. Have a great day, and I'll be around.